It was a dark and stormy night when John, in a fit of rage, lashed out at his brother-in-law Mark. The two had been arguing for hours about a family issue, but John couldn't control his temper any longer. As Mark tried to walk away, John punched him hard in the stomach, sending him flying to the ground in pain. The next day, John woke up to an empty house. His wife Julie had taken their children and gone to stay with her parents. John knew that he had crossed a line, but he also knew that he was angry and hurt. He tried calling Julie repeatedly, but she never picked up. Feeling more isolated and alone than ever before, John decided to pay his wife's parents a visit. As he knocked on the door, he felt a sense of dread wash over him. Julie's parents were always kind to him, but he knew that they wouldn't approve of his actions. A soft voice from the other side of the door asked who it was, and John steeled himself for the inevitable. "It's me, John. I came to see if there's anything I can do to make things right," he said, his voice shaking slightly. There was a long silence before the door opened, revealing a composed but angry Julie standing on the other side. Without saying a word, she stepped aside to let him in. Her parents were in the living room, looking at him with disappointment and confusion. John took a deep breath and began to apologize profusely, telling them how much he loved their daughter and their grandchildren. He promised to do whatever it took to make things right between him and Mark, even if it meant seeking professional help. Julie's parents listened carefully, their expressions softening slightly. Finally, Julie's mother spoke up. "We appreciate your apology, John, but we're not sure if we can forgive what you've done. It's up to Julie to decide if she wants to give you another chance." Over the next few days, John tried calling and visiting Julie, but she continued to shut him out. Desperate for another chance, he decided to write her a letter, pouring out his heart and soul about his feelings of guilt and remorse. In the end, however, he couldn't bring himself to say the word sorry. Instead, he closed the letter with one simple yet powerful statement: "I love you both, and I will do whatever it takes to earn your forgiveness." When Julie finally read the letter, she realized that John's actions had hurt not only Mark, but also himself. She understood that he was afraid to admit his wrongs and afraid of losing her and their children. With tears in her eyes, she reached out to John, ready to give him another chance. In the end, John and Mark were able to reconcile as well. They sought counseling and worked on their relationship, and while their bond would never be the same, they were able to move past the incident. As for John and Julie, they rebuilt their marriage brick by brick, starting with his promise to never let his temper control him again. Despite the challenges they faced, their love for each other prevailed. They worked hard to rebuild trust and communication, and their children saw the effort their parents were making. It wasn't easy, but with time, patience, and determination, they were able to create a strong and stable family once again. In the end, they realized that their love was not a given, but something they had to work on every day. They understood that simply forgiving each other wasn't enough. They had to earn each other's trust and respect. And so, they continued to communicate openly, support each other unconditionally, and make each other laugh and smile, even when things got tough. The incident served as a turning point in their relationship, one that only strengthened their bond and made them appreciate each other more. They didn't take their love for granted and cherished every moment they spent together, knowing that life was too short not to. Many years passed, and Julie and John became grandparents to loving grandchildren. They continued to nurture their relationship. /mstts, express as, /voice, /speak. Speak version equals 1.0 xmlns. MSTS equals https /www.w3.org/2001/MSTS XML. Lang equals ENUS. Voice name equals Microsoft Server Speech Text-to-Speech Voice ENUS Andrew Neural. MSTS express as style equals excited. Chip, cherishing their time spent together and supporting each other through the ups and downs of life. Their children looked up to them as role models for a healthy and stable marriage, attributing their own happy relationships to the example set by their parents. Despite the challenges they faced, Julie and John's story serves as a testament to the power of forgiveness, communication, and determination. Their journey teaches us that even the strongest relationships can be tested, but with patience, understanding, and love, we can overcome any obstacle. It reminds us that true love is not a fleeting emotion but a conscious choice to be made every day. And most importantly, the lesson they learned, that love is not a given but something we must work on every day, is one that can serve as a guiding principle for all of us in our own relationships. Janice was in the middle of explaining her predicament when Max interrupted her. Wait a minute. You mean you have to escort a VIP around town but don't know who they are? Exactly, Janice replied with a sigh. Max nodded thoughtfully. That's concerning. Don't worry though. We can find a way to help you. Over the next few hours, he pored over maps, talking to locals, and even consulting his extensive network of contacts. Eventually, he had narrowed down the list of likely suspects to just 3 people. 2 of them were relatively harmless celebrities while the third was a notorious crime lord. Janice was relieved to have some direction but still concerned about dealing with someone of such high importance. Max could sense her unease and asked, "Are you sure you want to go through with this? I could always make some calls and have someone else handle it." "No, I need to do this myself," Janice replied firmly. "I appreciate your help, Max. Let's hope for the best." The following day, Janice arrived early at the designated meeting spot. As she waited, a sleek black limousine pulled up and out stepped the infamous crime lord, surrounded by his own heavily armed security detail. Despite her trepidation, Janice maintained her cool and approached the crime lord with a smile. "Good morning, sir," she greeted him warmly. "My name is Janice, and I'll be your guide for the day." To her surprise, the crime lord laughed heartily. "Well now, ain't that a kick in the head?" "Janice? Huh? I'm gonna have to watch my step with a woman like you around." As it turned out, the notorious criminal was just as charming and friendly as any other ordinary person. Over the course of the day, Janice and the crime lord shared stories, laughed, and even bonded over their love for ice cream. By the end of the day, she had developed a genuine liking for him and even felt a bit sorry for all the trouble he had caused in his past. As they parted ways, the crime lord gave her a wink and whispered, "You know, Janice, if you ever need any help, don't hesitate to reach out. Anyone who can put up with a day with me deserves to have someone in their corner." As she walked away, Janice couldn't help but wonder what the future held and if she had made a new ally in one of the most unexpected places. The story ends here, with Janice left to ponder her new relationship with the notorious crime lord. It seems that her initial fears were unfounded, as he proved to be surprisingly charming and friendly. However, the implications of this relationship are yet to be seen. Will they continue to collaborate, or is this just a one-time deal? Only time will tell. The story could continue with Janice evaluating the potential benefits and risks of maintaining a relationship with the crime lord. She might consider using his resources or connections for her own personal or professional gain, but at the same time, she needs to be cautious not to cross any lines and risk endangering herself or others. As she navigates this new alliance, she might also find herself caught in the middle of criminal activities and having to make d/msts expresses l/voice/speak. Speak version equals 1.0 x mlns. MSTS equals https://www.w3.org/2001/MSTS/XML. Lang equals ENUS. Voice name equals Microsoft Server Speech Text-to-Speech Voice ENUS Andrew Neural. MSTS express as style equals excited. Fickle decisions about where her loyalties lie. Another aspect could be the reactions of those around her, including her friends, family, and colleagues, to her unexpected relationship with the notorious criminal. The story could explore themes of power, morality, loyalty, and the blurred lines between right and wrong. Janice spent the next few days trying to process what had happened. On one hand, she was thrilled to have formed a connection with someone who had the power to make a real difference in her life. On the other hand, she knew that getting involved with a criminal could have serious consequences. In the end, she decided to play it safe and keep her relationship with the crime lord on a professional level. They continued to exchange messages and tips, but she kept her distance from any illegal activities. As the weeks went by, she found herself relying on him more and more for information and assistance, which only deepened their working relationship. However, not everyone was happy about her association with the crime lord. Her friends and family expressed concern, and her colleagues started to question her integrity. Despite these challenges, Janice stood firm in her decision to remain professional and uninvolved in any criminal activity. As time went on, she realized that her relationship with the crime lord had become more than just professional. They had formed a bond based on mutual respect and understanding, and she even began to see a softer side of him. Nevertheless, she remained cautious and never let her guard down completely. In the end, Janice's relationship with the crime lord became a double-edged sword. While he provided her with valuable information and support, she also had to constantly watch her back and manage the expectations of those around her. Despite the risks, she felt that the benefits outweighed the costs, and she continued to navigate this complex dynamic for as long as it lasted. One day, Janice received a tip from the crime lord that could potentially lead to a major breakthrough in her investigation. Excited by the prospect of making a name for herself in the field, she immediately started working on the lead. After several days of diligent work, she finally uncovered a new piece of evidence that linked a key suspect to the crime. However, things took an unexpected turn when the crime lord suddenly went missing. Rumors began to spread about his possible arrest or even death, and Janice found herself in a difficult position. She knew that her career depended on the criminal she worked with, but she also couldn't risk being associated with someone who had disappeared or worse, had gone to jail. As the days turned into weeks, Janice struggled with her decision to cut ties with the crime lord. She felt guilty for abandoning him, but she also knew that she couldn't risk her job and reputation. To make matters worse, she had never told anyone about her personal relationship with him, which led to even more questions and suspicions from those around her. Eventually, Janice made the difficult decision to distance herself from the criminal underworld and focus solely on her career. She continued to work diligently on her cases, hoping that her hard work and dedication would make up for any doubts about her loyalty. Despite the challenges, Janice's career flourished. She received promotions and accolades for her work, and eventually became one of the top detectives in the department. However, she never forgot the lessons she learned from her time in the criminal underworld. She remained cautious and always put her duty to justice above all else, knowing that the line between right and wrong could be blurred in dangerous ways. As the years went by, Janice's relationship with the crime lord became a distant memory, overshadowed by her success and hard work. She continued to solve complex cases and mentor younger detectives, always reminding them of the importance of staying on the right side. /MSTS expresses L/voice /speak. Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS. MSTTS equals https://www.w3.org/2001/MSTTS XML. Lang equals ENUS. Voice name equals Microsoft Server Speech Text to Speech Voice, ENUS, Andrew Neural. MSTTS. Express as style equals excited. Of the law. One day, a new case came across her desk that hit close to home. The details were eerily similar to Janice's own experiences with the crime lord, and she knew that she had to handle it with extreme caution. As she dug deeper into the case, she realized that a young woman had been groomed and manipulated by a powerful criminal figure. Seeing the parallels between the young woman's story and her own past, Janice felt compelled to reach out and offer her support. She knew firsthand how difficult it was to break free from the lure of the criminal underworld, and she wanted to help this woman avoid making the same mistakes. As they worked together, Janice mentored the young woman and guided her towards a better future. She shared her own experiences and lessons learned, hoping that they would help the woman see the dangers of the criminal life. Slowly but surely, the woman began to trust Janice and open up about her own struggles. In the end, Janice was able to help the young woman turn her life around. The woman went on to become a successful entrepreneur and community leader, all while remaining true to herself and staying out of trouble. Reflecting on this experience, Janice realized that even though she had cut ties with the criminal underworld, its influence still lingered. She vowed to continue using her experiences to help others avoid falling into the same trap that had once held her captive. And even though her journey had been difficult and filled with challenges, Janice knew that it had made her the strong, resilient, and compassionate detective she was today. Over the years, Janice's reputation as a skilled and empathetic detective continued to grow. She worked tirelessly to ensure that justice was served, no matter how complicated the case might be. Her dedication to her profession and her commitment to helping others made her a respected and admired figure in the law enforcement community. One day, while attending a seminar on police brutality, Janice noticed a familiar face in the crowd. It was the son of the crime lord she had once known. He was now an adult, and his demeanor had changed drastically since their previous encounter. As the seminar came to a close, Janice found herself drawn to the young man. She approached him cautiously, remembering the fear and intimidation she had felt in his presence before. To her surprise, the young man seemed genuinely interested in making amends for his father's actions. Together, they began to talk about the past and the impact it had on their lives. Janice listened to him with an open mind, trying to understand where he was coming from. As they conversed, she realized that just like her, the young man had also been a victim of his father's machinations. From that moment on, Janice made it her personal mission to help the young man turn his life around. She became a mentor and a guide, offering him the same support and guidance that she had once received. Together, they worked towards making a positive change in the community and ensuring that others wouldn't have to suffer the same fate they did. In the end, Janice's compassion and understanding helped not only the young man, but also herself heal from the trauma of her past. She realized that forgiveness wasn't just for the victims, but also for the perpetrators, and that sometimes the only way to move forward was to let go of the past. Janice's story serves as a testament to the power of resilience and the transformative nature of empathy. It shows that even in the darkest of times, there is always room for hope and redemption. As time went on, Janice and the young man continued to work together, setting up various community programs and initiatives aimed at reducing crime and violence. Their combined efforts were not without their challenges, but they faced them head-on, always supporting each other along the way. One day, Janice received a promotion to become the head of the detective division in her department. /MSTTS, express as, /voice, /speak. Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS. MSTTS equals https /www.w3.org/2001/MSTTS XML. Lang equals ENUS. Voice name equals Microsoft Server Speech Text to Speech Voice, ENUS, Andrew Neural. MSTTS, express as style equals excited. NT. She was thrilled but also nervous, knowing that she would be leaving her mentorship program behind. However, she was determined to make a positive impact on her new position and hoped that her influence could continue to bring about change from within the system. At the same time, the young man had also started his own successful business, providing job opportunities and mentorship to other young people in the community. He credited Janice for his turnaround and continued to be an advocate for positive change. The years passed, and Janice looked back on her career with pride and satisfaction. She had made a real difference in the lives of those she had encountered, both as a detective and as a mentor. Her legacy lived on through the many individuals she had inspired and the positive impact she had made on the community she served. In the end, Janice's story is one of hope and resilience, showing that even the most difficult pasts can be overcome with empathy, understanding, and determination. As Janice reflected on her journey, she could feel a sense of accomplishment wash over her. Despite the challenges she faced, both personally and professionally, she never lost sight of her goals or the importance of giving back to the community that had shaped her. Even though she had stepped down from her role as the head of the detective division, Janice remained active in various community initiatives, serving as a mentor and advisor to many. In her retirement years, she wrote a book about her experiences, hoping to inspire others to choose the path of service and make a difference in their own communities. The young man, now a respected business owner and community leader, maintained close ties with Janice, often seeking her advice and guidance. He credited her with being the reason behind his success and continued to push for positive change in the neighborhood where they had both grown up. In the end, Janice's story serves as a testament to the power of second chances and the impact that a single person can have on the lives of others. Through empathy, understanding, and a willingness to help, she transformed not only her own life, but also the lives of those around her. Today, whenever asked about her life journey, Janice often shares her story with others, emphasizing the importance of never giving up and the ripple effect one's actions can have on the world. Her message resonates with people from all walks of life, inspiring them to find their own path to serve and make a difference. In her community, Janice's name is synonymous with change and positive impact. Her legacy continues to be felt through the countless lives she has touched and the example she set for those who follow in her footsteps. Despite her humble beginnings and difficult past, Janice has left an indelible mark on the world, proving that one person can indeed change the course of history. To this day, Janice remains a respected figure in her community and beyond, with many considering her a hero and role model. Her story is a beacon of hope for those facing challenges in their own lives, offering proof that even the most difficult paths can lead to something beautiful. As she often says, the past does not define us, but it does shape us. It's up to us to decide what we want to become. And through her own transformation, Janice has shown us that with determination, empathy, and a sense of purpose, anything is possible. Janice passed away at the age of 85, surrounded by her loving family and friends. Her funeral was attended by hundreds of people who came to pay their respects to a remarkable woman who had touched their lives in countless ways. Her obituary in the local paper spoke of her extraordinary life journey, from her troubled childhood to her years of service and finally, to her status as a beloved community leader. It also highlighted the impact she had on the young man who had once been a bully, showing how even the worst of enemies could become. /mstts, express as, /voice, /speak. Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS. MSTTS equals https www.w3.org/2001/MSTTS XML. Lang equals ENUS. Voice name equals Microsoft Server Speech Text to Speech Voice, ENUS, Andrew Neural. MSTTS, express as style equals excited. The closest of friends through understanding and empathy. In the weeks following her death, the entire community came together to honor Janice's memory. They painted over the old, worn-out playground equipment with bright colors and installed new swings and slides. They also planted flowers and trees along the streets, making the neighborhood a more beautiful place to live. The young man, now a successful business owner and community leader, dedicated a new community center in Janice's honor. He remembered her as a guiding light in his life and promised to continue her legacy of service and positive change. As time passed, people began to talk less about Janice's troubled past and more about her incredible life journey. Her story became an inspiration to many, showing that no matter where you come from or what challenges you face, you can still make a difference in the world. To this day, Janice's spirit lives on in the hearts of those she touched, and in the countless lives she helped transform for the better. Her story is a testament to the power of empathy, understanding, and the desire to serve others, proving that one person really can make a difference in the world. That's a beautiful story of transformation and the power of empathy and understanding. We can all learn from Janice's example and strive to make a positive impact on the world around us. Thank you for saying so. It's amazing what can happen when we open our hearts and minds to others. Now let me tell you about another individual who embodied this spirit of empathy and understanding. His name was Stanley, and he worked as a social worker at an inner-city school. Every day, Stanley would interact with children from diverse backgrounds, each facing unique challenges. Some were facing financial hardship, others were dealing with family issues, and some were simply feeling lost and disconnected. Despite the various struggles these kids faced, Stanley never judged them. Instead, he offered them a safe space to express themselves and provided them with the support they needed. One day, Stanley noticed a new student named Jasmine. She was quiet, withdrawn, and seemed to be carrying a heavy burden. He knew he had to reach out to her. So, he spent extra time talking with her after class and encouraging her to participate in school activities. Over time, Jasmine started opening up to Stanley, sharing her fears and anxieties. Stanley listened patiently and offered her words of comfort and guidance. He also arranged for her to see a therapist who could help her work through her issues. With Stanley's support and the help of the therapist, Jasmine began to blossom. She joined the school's drama club and even started participating in class discussions. Thanks to Stanley's empathy and understanding, Jasmine found a sense of belonging and purpose. Her grades improved, and she formed meaningful friendships with her peers. As for Stanley, he continued to touch lives, one student at a time, reminding us all of the power of empathy and understanding. What a heartwarming story. It's inspiring to see how Stanley's compassion made a significant difference in Jasmine's life and the lives of the other students he encountered. It just goes to show that even a small act of kindness can have a ripple effect and create long-lasting positive change. Absolutely. Stanley's commitment to understanding and empathy is a great example of how we can all make a difference in the world around us. His story serves as a reminder that sometimes all someone needs is someone to listen and offer support. By being that person, we can help others navigate their challenges and find their own path to growth and healing. I completely agree. Stories like these remind us of the importance of emotional intelligence and the ability to connect with others on a deeper level. By acknowledging and understanding the struggles of others, we create a space for empathy and growth, which can lead to incredible /mstts, express as, /voice, /speak. Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS. MSTTS equals https //www.w3.org/2001/MSTTS XML. Lang equals ENUS. Voice name equals Microsoft Server Speech Text to Speech Voice, ENUS, Andrew Neural. MSTTS, express as style equals excited. Formations. It's encouraging to see that Stanley's impact extended beyond the classroom, as his compassion and kindness rippled outwards and touched the lives of everyone around him. We can all learn from his example and strive to be more understanding and supportive in our own interactions with others. Yes, absolutely. Stanley's story is a testament to the power of connection and understanding. His ability to see past Jasmine's initial exterior and truly empathize with her struggles allowed him to provide her with the support she needed to thrive. This not only benefits Jasmine, but also leads to a more positive and inclusive school environment for everyone involved. By modeling kindness and empathy, Stanley sets an example for his peers to follow, creating a ripple effect of positivity that can spread throughout the school and beyond. That's a brilliant point. Not only did Stanley's actions benefit Jasmine, but they also created a more positive and inclusive environment for everyone in the school. By showing empathy and kindness towards Jasmine, he set an example for others to follow, encouraging them to be more understanding and supportive of their peers. This not only improves the social climate of the school, but also helps to create a sense of community and belonging. It's heartening to see how Stanley's small act of kindness had such a significant ripple effect, transforming not only Jasmine's life, but also the lives of those around her. Absolutely. It's incredible to see how one person's actions can have such a profound impact on those around them. Not only did Stanley's kindness benefit Jasmine, but it also inspired others to be more empathetic and supportive. This ripple effect can have a lasting impact on the school culture and create a safer, more inclusive learning environment for all students. It's a wonderful reminder of the power of kindness and the importance of creating spaces where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. As word spread about Stanley's actions, more students began to approach him with their problems. He became known as the go-to guy for anyone who needed someone to talk to or a shoulder to cry on. This not only made Stanley feel good about himself, but it also fostered a sense of community in the school. Students no longer felt alone in their struggles and were more willing to reach out for help. However, there was one person who didn't share the same sentiment. A popular student named Alex, who had always been known for his mean-spirited pranks and bullying, watched all of this unfold with disdain. Despite being called out by his peers and teachers for his behavior, Alex refused to change. One day, during a class assignment, Alex decided to take his frustration out on Stanley. He purposely gave him a wrong answer and made fun of him in front of the class. Seeing this, Jasmine stood up for Stanley, defending him against Alex's taunts. This led to a heated argument between the two, which eventually ended with both students being sent to the principal's office. In the principal's office, she spoke with them about the importance of kindness and respect towards their fellow students. She emphasized that while everyone may have their disagreements, there was no room for bullying or mean-spirited behavior in their school. Having witnessed Stanley's impact firsthand, she urged Alex to consider changing his ways and becoming more empathetic towards others. As they left the principal's office, Stanley approached Alex, extending his hand in friendship. To his surprise, Alex hesitated for a moment but eventually took it. They started talking, And for the first time, Stanley began to see a glimmer of hope that maybe even Alex could be brought around to their side. From that day forward, there were still disagreements and arguments between them, but they were always resolved peacefully. Slowly but surely, Alex began to show signs of change, being more considerate towards others and even volunteering to /mstts express as /voice/speak. Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS. MSTTS equals https://www.w3.org/2001/MSTTS XML. Lang equals ENUS. Voice name equals Microsoft Server Speech Text to Speech Voice, ENUS, Andrew Neural. MSTTS, express as style equals excited. Help out during school events. While he may never become the kind-hearted person that Stanley is, this was a step in the right direction. Thanks to Stanley's kindness, a new culture of empathy was born in the school. Students no longer feared being ridiculed or ostracized for their struggles, and even those who were once considered outcasts were now being embraced by their peers. The impact that one person's kindness can have is truly immeasurable, and Stanley had set an example that would inspire generations to come. As the school year went on, more and more students began to adopt Stanley's kind and empathetic approach to their interactions with others. Even Alex, while still somewhat rough around the edges, began to show signs of genuine care and concern for his classmates. In the wake of this newfound kindness, the academic performance of the school improved dramatically. Students were more motivated to learn and excel when they knew they had the support of their peers. Teachers reported a decrease in behavioral issues and an increase in classroom participation. The school even started to receive recognition from outside organizations for its positive and inclusive culture. Students who were once ostracized now felt comfortable expressing their interests and talents, leading to a rich and diverse variety of extracurricular activities. Stanley remained at the heart of this change, always willing to lend a listening ear or a helping hand. His compassionate spirit served as a beacon of hope, inspiring others to be kind and empathetic. As the years went by, it became clear that Stanley did not need superpowers to make a difference. All he needed was his authentic self.